Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, my name is Harmony. I'm just a regular girl like you guys. I'm a mom. My son is 7, I'm 25, and I'm on my second surrogate journey. So I have learned so much about surrogacy in the last 2 years, and I want to make videos to help you guys because I know when I first started my surrogacy journey, I had no idea what to expect, what was going to happen. I didn't know how any of it worked. So now that I know, and I actually work for my surrogacy agency now, I feel really good about helping you guys out. So I really want to share my knowledge with you and kind of just break down the parts of surrogacy that people don't really talk about and just help you guys through the process. And if you guys are with another agency and you guys have already started your process, I want to build a community of surrogates where we can just support each other and just be there for each other, because I know a lot of times people don't really have the support that they would like to have from all their family or friends. So it's nice to be able to have like a community of people where we can just come to and we can just like vent to each other and just be there for each other. So I think it's really important, and I'm really excited to start this community, and I'm excited to see where this goes. So if you guys are currently a surrogate, comment down below and share maybe your experience that you've experienced so far, and we can just chat in the comments. But anyway, this video, as you can tell by the title, is going to be all about how the process of surrogacy works, and I'm going to get into the disqualifications and all of that good stuff, and just kind of, you know, see if surrogacy is right for you, if it's something that you are thinking about, or maybe you're just curious about how surrogacy works. Maybe you're an intended parent and you want to know a little bit more about the surrogate side of it. Whatever the case is, hopefully this video helps you in some way. So let's just jump right in. I have a cat right here, a cat. My cat is biting me like crazy right now. This is Stitch. If you guys follow me and you guys are a subscriber, you guys know that I'm obsessed with my big kitty boy. Such a big kitty boy. He was little when I first found him. I found him on the streets. I picked his little ass up and I took him home with me, and I said, "You are mine. You will be my kitty forever." I love him. Okay, but not when he bites me. I don't like that. Please don't bite me. Go over there. Play with your toys. Don't climb up the Christmas tree. Don't bite me. Don't. He's gonna jump on me. Stop it. Stop it. No. Stitch. I'm trying to film a video. Can you respect that? I have all my notes right here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into the process first. So when you're deciding to be a surrogate, the first thing you need to do is you need to really think about it and make sure that it's something that you want to do. So I get questions all the time like, how did I become a surrogate? How did I know I wanted to become a surrogate? And I've talked about this before in one of my videos, but the reason why I decided to be a surrogate, or when I guess the idea came in my brain, was when I was in 7th or 8th grade, and I had a teacher who used to watch me and my best friend when our parents would work in the summer. And since, you know, she was a teacher, she didn't work, and she was actually neighbors with my friend at the time. So she used to watch us in the summer, and she had a friend who she was trying to be a surrogate for. And obviously, like, you know, at that age, you don't really understand a lot about, you know, that realm of having babies and stuff like that. I've always loved pregnant women. I've always loved pregnancy. I've always loved babies. And so my teacher was trying to be a surrogate for her friend, and her friend had cancer. I think it was ovarian cancer, I could be wrong, but she had to do the procedure where, you know, you takes out all your eggs, like your ovaries. I'm not sure exactly what that's called, but a hysterectomy it might be. I don't know. But so she only had, you know, one embryo, her and her husband, or whatever, however many left, because she had been trying. And if you guys know anything about infertility or fertility or whatever, it's expensive, and it's a lot of money to retrieve the eggs from your body. It's a lot of money to make embryos. It's expensive. So anyway, it was her last chance, and my teacher tried to be a surrogate for her and it didn't work. And that's the thing about surrogacy, is it doesn't always work, and we'll get into that. But that was kind of what planted the seed in my brain to become a surrogate at such a young age. And then obviously you have to have already had a child, which I have mentioned before. It's a requirement. You have to have carried a child full term. You have had to raise the child, and yeah, that's just a requirement that you have to have. And so after I had my son when I was 18 years old. I think I had mentioned it when I was with his dad, and obviously I didn't do it. You have to be at least 21. So I don't even think that when we were together I wasn't even old enough to do it, but it was still something that I had like always thought about. And then I decided in 2018, I was just at a point in my life where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I really want to do it. And I had a friend who had done it, so after seeing her do it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And then that's when I decided. So it wasn't something that I just thought about one day and then applied the next. It was something I had always considered my whole life, pretty much, since I can remember. So that's just for me, and I'm just saying, you guys, because it's such a big deal, you want to really think about if it's right for you, if it's right for your lifestyle, if it's right for your situation, whatever it is, you want to make sure that it is right for you. If you are like a first responder, or you work in, especially right now with like everything going on with COVID, you know, your job has to kind of align with it. So for me personally, when I did my first journey, I was a bartender and a server, and I was also working freelance, doing freelance makeup at MAC. So it was easy for me to do it at the time. And then now I'm so blessed that I actually work from home now, doing work for my surrogacy agency and also doing YouTube. So I'm very blessed that I'm able to work from home, and so it just kind of made sense for me to do it a second time because I just felt like it was right. So yeah, everything, it happens the way it's supposed to happen. So if it doesn't happen for you a certain time, like, it's not the right time, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is basically the first thing. You just want to make sure that it is right for you. So the second thing is to talk about it with your close family and friends. And I emphasize the word close because you don't want to just be telling everybody, because people are gonna have an opinion about it. Everybody does, you know. Some people do not understand it at all, and some people are very understanding, and it can go either way. And I made that mistake my first journey. I was telling some family members who I'm not super close with, and they gave their opinion about it, and it was not positive. So in some ways it kind of like made me think and like discouraged me a little bit. But then I was like, you know what, no, this is my life, and I'm gonna do it because it's my life, and nobody else lives in my shoes, you know. So as long as my parents support me and my, you know, close friends that I have support me, that's all that matters. So I'm very blessed that both of my parents, my mom and my dad, both really support me in my journey. My parents are my best friends. I talk to them every single day, and like I said, they support me 100%. After I had my first surrogate baby last year, I spent a few days at my mom's house when I was like recovering, and she took care of me, and she, you know, helped me with my son, and she, you know, fed me and made sure that I was okay, because it was hard. It was really hard after recovering, and I wish I would have documented it more, but like I said, it was my first time, and so I was, you know, I did share a lot, but I didn't share everything. So yeah, make sure that your family and friends are okay with it, because if you don't have not one person in your life that is supporting you on it, it can be really difficult, and you just want to have, you know, at least 2 solid people that you know are going to support you. So after that's all done, when you start thinking about it and you're like, okay, I really want to do it, I have support from my family and friends, I'm gonna apply. So when you apply to be a surrogate, the first thing that happens is you're going to be reached out to. Someone's going to reach out to you. I didn't know how to say that. Someone's going to reach out to you with, if you do it through my agency, it would be me. They're going to reach out to you and basically have an interview, and they're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions about your lifestyle, about your previous pregnancies, about your you know, job, about your partner, like just in general, just so many questions to see if you are a good candidate. And I will go over at the end about the disqualifications. So once you do your interview and you qualify, okay, cool. So everything's good. You have, you know, everything is set. What happens after that is you have to get your medical records. And this is really important for the clinics because they need to see your previous pregnancies and how they were so that they can see if, like, you know, you're a good candidate for surrogacy. And once you do that, it's easier if you guys, if you're gonna do it and you're thinking about doing it, make sure you keep all this stuff in the back of your head. Like, I need my medical records, I need to get, some doctors require like an OB clearance letter. It's just very situational from case to case, but for everybody you need your medical records, so make sure you obtain those. After you qualify, you apply, all that stuff, you are going to get a profile made, and that's where the IPs get to look and choose, you know, what candidate or what surrogate they want to carry their baby. And then you also get to choose who you carry baby for. So you're not forced to carry anybody's baby. You go through match meetings. Sometimes it takes up to 3 match meetings. My first time doing it, I had 3 match meetings before I was actually matched with the IPs that I was matched with. And the first one, I just didn't vibe with them. I was not feeling it. I was like, no. I told my case manager at the time, I was like, I didn't like that vibe. It was just, they were just very like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just not the vibe for me. And then the second one, they were cool and I matched with them, and then something happened on their end where they just like fell through and wanted to wait or something like that, and then I got matched with the third IPs, and I'm very glad because I loved my IPs last time. And then this time it was a lot different. These IPs like saw my profile and they were like, yes, I don't even care, like I just want her. But I wanted to meet with them first, and I met with them and they're really cool and I really like them. And I actually did meet the dad at my first medical clearance appointment. So after you are all set with all that stuff, then you get a psychological evaluation. So it's basically some huge ass questionnaire that just asks a bunch of questions about like mental health stuff, and then a psychologist calls you and asks you a bunch of more questions. So if it is your second, third, fourth journey, it is a lot quicker just because you've already done it before. But if it's your first time, the process can take a little bit longer. After you get your psychological screening, that's when you do the match meeting and you get matched with IPs. And then after that, then you get your medical clearance. So you go to the doctor or the clinic, sorry, and they do blood work, they do urine tests, they do ultrasounds to check your ovaries, check your uterus. They just check everything to make sure that you're healthy enough to carry a pregnancy. And once you get cleared medically, which takes about, I don't know, anywhere from like a couple days to a week to come back, then that's when you do your contracts. So surrogacy contracts are huge contracts. You get an attorney, the IPs get an attorney, and they come up with a contract, the IPs, and then they send it over to your attorney, and then your attorney goes over it with you. Then you can make any changes that you want to it. Like, I don't know, every case is different. So you just go through it with your attorney and they help you with that process. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. But after you approve it, then they go back and then they approve it. And then once it's finalized, then that's when you sign everything. You have to get it notarized and send it back, and then you are signed. Your contract is signed, you're all good. And then after that, that's when your appointments start. So the appointments leading up to embryo transfer can be anywhere from 2 to 4 appointments, depending on you and your individual body, your lining, how the medication's working, just all of that stuff goes into effect. So then you start your meds, and then you get your embryo transfer. And every clinic is different with the way that they do the meds. Some do natural cycles, some do different kind of, there's different. I'm not in the medical field, so I don't really know all the terminology when it comes to that stuff. I just know that every clinic is different, every person is different. So it's very case by case when it comes to medication and stuff like that. So after you do that, then you get your embryo transfer. So after your embryo transfer, you have to wait 2 weeks to get a blood test, and then that will confirm pregnancy or not. And then after you get your blood test, you're gonna have to take another one if it comes out positive to make sure that your levels are increasing. And then after that, if your levels are increasing and you're pregnant, then you continue your medications, and then you go to get an ultrasound about 4 weeks after to see if you get a heartbeat. So that's kind of just like a quick little rundown of the process, and that process can take anywhere from, you know, a couple months to a year. It just really depends on you and your body and how on it you are, because if you take a long time to like get your medical records, and you take a long time to respond, and you take it can take longer. I know right now with COVID and everything going on today in this time that we're in, it can take a little bit longer just because, you know, COVID. So after you get a heartbeat confirmation, then you still have to stay on your meds till you're 12 weeks pregnant. So a lot of people probably don't know this. I didn't know this, but yeah, you have to stay on meds until you're 12 weeks pregnant, or else you can lose the pregnancy because it's not natural. You know, you didn't get pregnant on your own. You have to assist it with the medication. So then after 12 weeks, then you graduate from IVF, and you can start going to see a normal doctor. And I get this question a lot. The IPs do pay for your insurance throughout the process. So sometimes you can use your own insurance depending on what insurance plan you have and all that stuff. But most of the time, the IPs pay for your insurance. So you don't have to pay for anything out of pocket. A lot of people ask me that. You don't have to pay for really anything out of pocket. And if you do, you get reimbursed. So such as like prescription refills, all that stuff, you get reimbursed. Like I was saying, you get reimbursed for anything that you have to pay for. Also, if you have to travel to appointments, you get reimbursed for like your gas and mileage. In some cases, you can get reimbursed for lost wages for your job, and also like childcare expenses. So like I said a million times, every surrogate is different, every journey is different, every clinic is different, every IP is different, every agency, it's all different. But in general, that's how it is. So things to keep in mind. Okay, so I already said that. So let's talk about disqualifications. So some disqualifications, I'm just gonna say like the main ones. There's a lot of disqualifications because, you know, there just is. But the main ones that I've seen is preterm labor. So preterm labor will disqualify you. I'm not exactly sure the reason, but it has to do with just risk, you know? If you generally have early labor, you generally have early labor for all your pregnancies. And same thing, like if you go late with all your pregnancies, then you generally deliver late with all your pregnancies. I had to be induced with my son and with my surrogate baby. Don't know why, my body just doesn't go into labor naturally. I literally was 40 weeks pregnant and I felt nothing. But then I know some people who literally are laboring for days and days and days at home, and they go to the hospital and they send him home. They go to the hospital, send him home. Like that didn't happen to me. I literally had to be induced with both times. So another thing that can disqualify you is being on certain medication for anxiety, depression, just like things like that can disqualify you. Smoking cigarettes during your pregnancy, smoking cigarettes in general, smoking, like living with somebody who smokes cigarettes can disqualify you. If you live with somebody who smokes cigarettes and they go outside and they do it like on their own term, like I'm sure that is an exception, but they don't want you to be exposed to secondhand smoke. That's what it is. Illegal states, which I talked about in my last video. Let me just double check the states because I always forget. So right now, New York is illegal until February 15th, which is my birthday. Woo-hoo, Aquarius gang. Nebraska, Louisiana, and Michigan. So those are the 3 states that are illegal. New York is currently still legal, but like I said, February 15th, 2021, it will no longer be illegal. I'm not exactly sure why. If somebody knows, comment down below and inform the class, because I don't know the reason why it is illegal. I didn't even know that it could be illegal until I started, you know, learning more about it. So another thing, and I see this one all the time, is high BMIs. So the reason why high BMIs is a disqualification, and it's not necessarily an automatic disqualification, it's more so like you need to get your BMI lower and then you can qualify type situation, is because of the risk of gestational diabetes, and also the medication doesn't work as well if you are heavier. That's just what I've heard. I don't know how true that is. I'm not a doctor, like I've said, but that's just what I've heard. And yeah, so you want to make sure that you are healthy, physically healthy. And I know we're all moms, so we all, you know, we gain weight after you have babies. It's really inevitable. And some women lose weight a lot faster. Some women gain weight a lot faster. It's just so situational. Yeah, like you just want to be physically healthy and fit. And I feel like that for any pregnancy, you know, it's just easier on your body if you're already fit and healthy than if you're unhealthy and like overweight. So you just want to make sure that your BMI is below 25. And I've seen girls with really high BMIs apply, and I just like really hate having to tell them like your BMI is a little too high. That's honestly like the worst part about my job, is I feel so bad, but it's not my fault, but it's just, for some reason, that's just a requirement. Age, so you have to be over 21, below 37. Now this can be exceptional because my friend's stepmom was a surrogate twice, and she did it back to back. And the first time she did it, I believe she was 38, 37. I don't know. She was definitely older, and she did it again and she was above 37. So it really just depends on the clinic, on the doctor, on the agency. Like it's so case by case. Like I can't emphasize that enough. You know, one clinic might turn down a girl and another clinic might accept her, and I've actually seen that happen before. So if you get turned down once, don't give up. If you really want to do it, you know, try again with another agency, or try again with another clinic, or see if there's a way you can do it. You can also do private. That's a whole nother thing. Private surrogacy, that you don't have an agency and like you just hire a surrogate, like IPs just hire a surrogate. That's a whole different thing. I don't know anything about that, so I'm not going to inform you guys about that, but that is a thing as well. So just keep that in mind. And also, having gestational diabetes can disqualify you, but if you had gestational diabetes, let's say with your previous pregnancy, but it was controlled without medication, you can still get accepted. So it's just if you like had to take medication throughout the pregnancy that I think is what disqualifies you. And also, not having an open schedule can also disqualify you. I mean, that's really just like agency wise, just because it's like if you're unreliable and you know you take forever to get back, and it's just kind of like one of those things where they want you to be ready to do it. And if you're like not responsive, and if you're just taking forever, then they're kind of just gonna think like, well, she's not really serious about it, so we're not gonna be serious about it too. Because honestly, it is a lot, and we're now working for the agency. I see what goes on behind the scenes, and I really love my agency. Like they really take care of their surrogates. And you know, before COVID happened, like last year, in 2019, before COVID happened, they took us to the spa twice, like all the surrogates, and we just all got to meet, and it was like great. Obviously it can't happen now because of COVID, but in the future, I'm sure it will happen again. And it was just like such a fun experience, and I love my case manager. I had a different case manager last journey, but I loved her too, and I love my case manager now, and she's actually my coworker, and we've just like grown really close, and I really love her. And also, she's a surrogate too, so she understands. You know, I think it's important to have case managers that are also surrogates, especially like going through it at the same time, because then it's just, you feel that connection and you feel comfortable talking to them. So that's just my personal opinion. Also, another thing that can disqualify you is being on like government assistance and like not having a stable home, you know, not kind of like just, if you're like couch surfing, probably shouldn't be a surrogate, just because it's important to have like a stable place to live and like I said before, a stable support system. You just don't want to be struggling, because that brings stress, and you don't want to be stressed when you're pregnant, especially, you know, trying to get pregnant can prevent stress can prevent getting pregnant. So just being stable financially, mentally, that's just really, really important when it comes to surrogacy. So if you have uncontrolled or serious health conditions such as heart problems, diabetes, thyroid disease, like those things will disqualify you as well, just because, you know, high risk, and it's just not ideal for surrogacy. If you had trouble with your pregnancies in the past, that's also a no. You want to basically have had really healthy, normal, unproblematic pregnancies to be a surrogate. If you are not a US citizen, also disqualifies you. I get emails from girls all the time who are from other countries, and unfortunately you do have to be a US citizen to be a surrogate. Having chronic anxiety or depression, if you're taking medication, like I said, that can disqualify you as well. If you have a criminal record, that can also disqualify you. And I believe if you are married and your partner has a criminal record, that can also disqualify you. So it's very different if you're single and if you're in a marriage, especially if you're like living with that person. If you are married, your partner has to be on board with everything, because they're obviously your partner. So that's that. That is pretty much everything. I could go on and on about this because there's just no ending to it. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments down below, and also just ask a question and maybe somebody else can answer it in the comments. I would love for us to just, you know, chat about it, and please just keep it positive. I don't want any negativity in my comment section. I'm not down for that. It's not the vibe. We're all positive vibes over here. So if you're gonna comment some negative shit, just stay off of my page, because ain't nobody got time for that. But I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I will continue to make them for you. I want to do a Q&A very soon, just answering, you know, questions that people have individually. So if you guys are not following me on Instagram, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I will always have it in the description box down below, so you guys can follow me, you guys can DM me, and then that is where I will ask the questions for my Q&A. If you guys don't have an Instagram or social media, go ahead and just leave a comment on this video if you guys have a question, and I will do a Q&A soon and answer any other questions you guys might have. But thank you so much for watching and supporting me, and thank you for all of your sweet comments that you guys have left me and all your DMs. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.